Hello to another episode of Sunday School. You know who I am. I'm Ged from St. Moses Coptic Church in Ashburn, Virginia. Today we have with us...
Hi, my name is Ferris Adley.
Welcome back, Ferris. Today we're going to talk about the Catholic epistles. In last week's episode, we talked about the Pauline epistles and the Pauline letters written by St. Paul. Now, the Catholic epistles have different authors, and you can know them by the name of those epistles. Unlike the Pauline epistles, well, they were titled by the country or the place that it was addressed to or the person it was addressed to. The Catholic epistle is titled by their authors. Let's start today's episode with a verse from the Gospel of St. Mark, chapter 16, verse 15. And he said to them, "Go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature." To every creature. It didn't say like human, to every person. No, to every creature. That means no matter who you see, preach the good news to them. Bring the good news in all around the world. To Asia, to every continent, to America, everywhere. Preach the gospel. Now, we talked about the names of these epistles. Now, they are titled, let's start with the first one, James. James only wrote one holy epistle around the year 60 AD, and it's about harmony of faith, good deeds and works, and practical wisdom, which is very, very useful when you're trying to have harmony in your faith. Yes, you can have faith, but how about harmony? How about peaceful faith? Yes, we're trying to strengthen our faith, but St. James really goes through how we can have faith and works at the same time. Through good deeds and good works, we can show our faith. Practical guidance and justification in applying our Christian behavior. This is in the Epistle of St. James. I encourage you to read it. It's only 5 chapters, very short and very, very useful in our everyday life. If you would summarize the book of St. James in 10 words or less, what would it be?
Well, I would say real Christian faith is shown by one's good work.
Nicely said. Because again, the book of St. James is about one's good works and faith and practical wisdom in these decisions. Let's talk about the second. Now, St. Peter wrote 2 holy epistles. It was around the year 65 to 70 AD, and it was about rejoicing and sharing sufferings. And of course, this is of our Lord Jesus Christ, and true knowledge versus false knowledge by like false prophets or false people talking bad things about Christianity. In the 2 epistles of St. Peter that he wrote, he was strengthening their faith and telling them, don't listen to what these people are saying. Don't listen to what these false information that you're getting. You know your faith, you know the Coptic Church, and you know the gospel. Don't listen to anybody else. Satan is trying to get somebody inside the church and deceive and get you all confused and make you fall outside the Christian faith. Do you think you should listen and consider these false teaching by those people?
No.
Do you think it's correct to listen to them and give them attention?
No.
I don't think so. Because by giving them attention, by pursuing their false teaching, it confuses you from the right path of true Christian knowledge. That's my opinion. But I think whenever a church excommunicated one of the heresies, the people that brought up the heresies against the church, they were excommunicated, that nobody has any more communication with them, so they wouldn't get confused, so their teaching wouldn't go out into the world, right? I would summarize the first epistle like this. Suffering for the sake of Jesus Christ is noble and good. How would you summarize the second epistle of St. Peter?
Be aware of false teachers within the church.
Yeah, well said. Very good. Let's go ahead and continue. St. John. St. John the Beloved wrote 3 holy epistles around 90 to 95 AD, and it focused on tests of true Christian life, tests of true Christian care, and genuine leadership versus false leadership. It was a guide to appropriate Christian behaviors and proper teachers and teachings so that we may have fellowship among each other and with God. St. John really focused on, yes, you're a leader, But you have to remember, you have to be a good leader by being humble, by staying true to your Christian faith, by staying true to the commandments, by staying true to the love of God for others, right? I would summarize the first epistle by saying this: Jesus was real man, just as he is real God, because he was addressing some of the concerns that the people have. They were getting some attacks that Jesus was not real. When he was on earth, he wasn't real God, he wasn't real human, all these false things. So he's telling them Jesus is real, just as he is God. Yes, Jesus, when he was on earth, he was human, but he was also God, which is evident because he didn't sin. How would you summarize the second and third epistle of our teacher, St. John the Evangelist?
I would summarize them by saying, beware of the false teachers who deny Jesus' physical life on earth. Church leaders must be humble, not proud.
Amazing. That's very well said. And I love what you said about they shouldn't be proud, they should be humble. Because pride is one of the things that the devil loves. He wants you to fall into vanity. He wants you to fall into pride. And having too much pride or bad pride about yourself is going to lead you in a bad place or in a place of corruption. St. Jude, he wrote one epistle around the year 80 AD, and he focused on contending earnestly to the faith, because Satan is trying to sneak things into God's church, into Christians, so they can get confused and convert to any other religion, so they can be with Satan and believe his false teaching. So it's our job to earnestly contend to the true Coptic Orthodox Church faith as passed down by the church apostles and the Bible. The church started on the day of Pentecost, and it hasn't really changed at all. It's only been strengthened. And anytime we had heresies attack the church, we were always steadfast in the teachings of the apostles that was passed down, and of course the teachings of the Gospels. So how would you summarize the book of St. Jude in 10 words or less?
Be aware of heretical teachers and their dangerous doctrines.
Which is similar to St. John's epistle, telling them, be aware of these false teachings, these false leaders. They are not here for your benefit. They are not telling you these false things so you are stronger in the faith. No, they're trying to make you fall. May the spirit of the Catholic epistle guide us to being perseverant in our faith and vigilant to preserve it. With this, we conclude our episode today. I hope you learned something from the Catholic epistle, and I challenge you this. Another challenge for you is open one of the Catholic epistles and read the entire book. They are not very long. If you open the Catholic epistles, you see like St. James is only five chapters, and one of the books is actually one chapter. So it's very short and very practical to your everyday life. Through this challenge, we reached the conclusion of our episode. See you again next week in a new episode of Sunday School.